Yep. So I'm about to be gone for like the next 2 weeks. Going to like 2 different music festivals. It's gonna be a good time. But regardless, we'll be playing for a while, so I figured I'd leave you guys a deck profile. This is still Kairyu-Shin, but this is kind of a spicy build that I've been fucking with. I've not gotten to play it at any locals, so I'm giving it to you guys to try it out, see if it works, improve it. But I definitely think it's, I don't know, I'm always trying to like take it in a different turn, I guess. We've talked about this a little bit on the channel, but this is me actually trying to implement it in a way that's useful. If the ban list bans needle fiber, then it completely shits on like everything the deck's trying to do. But I guess we'll just, I mean, if that comes out while I'm gone, then fuck it, this was all for nothing. But at the same point in time, at least I put it out. But yeah, I hope everyone's been doing well. Life's great on my end. So if anyone's going to Imagine and or Lost Lands, feel free to say hi and come. I don't know if anyone else in my channel goes to like festivals. All right, so I guess we'll start with the cards that don't make, or that make sense, and then we'll do the cards that don't make sense. So again, I've not gotten to play this at any tournaments, so the amount of play testing is minimal. But in theory, and I'll do some test hands too. But the idea being that it's a little bit different compared to what we're normally rocking with. 2 Kraken, 3 Jellyfish, 3 Kairyu-Shin, and 1 Whale. I still think Whale, let's see how that lines up. That's quite nice. Whale, could you cut it? Yes, technically, but I mean, for as fun as the deck is, I think the Whale adds utility. The Whale stays. For monsters that don't necessarily, well, a little bit more explanation. So 1 Warrior Volantis still, again, not necessarily needed, but I've got a multi-rare first dead, so I'm playing it. Probably adds a little bit of consistency. 1 Maiden of the Aqua. I know a lot of people are cool with cutting this. For this build, she actually has a little bit more utility as well. But we are playing a Maiden of the Aqua. 1 Magica Libra, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But it is a normal that you can summon off of Fish Sonar that is a tuna. So that will come into needle fiber plays. Obviously, you can bring it back off of Sea Stealth too. It's a level 4 vanilla, so you can normal summon it if need be. But it becomes just a nice extender. Turns Fish Sonar into a Hulk play as long as you have access to Legendary Ocean or Uni. And then 1 Grappler Angler, just so you have a target for needle fiber. He's a tuner as well. You're not really playing like 1-for-1 or anything like that to get him out, but he is nice to have as a body. If you don't play this, that's probably okay. I don't think it's necessarily needed, but for what I've been, hold on, sorry. Yes. Cool. So, but this is your target for needle fiber. Whenever Legendary Ocean lowers all of your monsters by 1 level, he's a good target to make sure that you can get into a level 10 play. Just because if your level 4s become level 3s, then you have to go into a level 9, which is still fine. You play a target for that, but this is nice just because it gives you an option. His effect too, whenever he attacks and does damage, you could just special summon a monster from your graveyard in defense position. It doesn't even have to be a water, it can be any monster. So if that ever comes up, then sweet, well done, you did it. But that's it for the monster count. So again, a little unorthodox, but you'll see what we're getting into. Let's put those over here. Spells, 3 Legendary Ocean, 3 Fish Sonar. My broke ass spent all my money on this, so sorry, but I can't afford Prosperities yet until they get reprinted. But I just got this. I've been wanting one for like 6 years and I finally got one, so go me. But I figured I'd share that with y'all. I've got some cool shit that I'll go through at some point. I don't know. I've got, like I said, I want to go through my collection binder, but act as if these were Prosperities, because in my playtesting, Prosperities is fucking nuts. So that's what I'll be running, obviously, as soon as it comes out. I think the 10s come out here pretty soon, but I'm not sure. This is because I don't know. This card very easily could be like the Fury of Kairyu-Shin and 2 Torrentials or something. I'm trying this card or going to play it out just because of all the fusion targets that you play. It could work, it could not work. I think it also depends on the matchup, but this card tends to be a bit of a blowout. It seems like in breaking boards. It probably could be something else or like run 2. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm just trying it. I haven't gotten to play this out of locals yet, so don't look too hard into this. But if it works, fuck yeah. Sea Stealth 2, still thinking 2 copies is pretty solid at this point. It still chooses Umi, but with you needing Fish Sonar to resolve, I mean it between when you're playing 5. 1 instant, 1 ready. So these are both for, I mean obviously we'll get into the extra deck here in a second, but extenders more or less just to get into needle fiber plays. Feather Duster Terraforming, called by, and mine, yeah, playing a ton of 1-ofs, it's fucking tragic. But, I mean, obviously your extra copy of Legendary, I still think mine is good. We're playing Metaverse 2, so it's kind of cheesy. Called by, I think Called by is I don't know, I slapped it back in. I think it's good enough to, like, if you want to guarantee your needle plays or, like, your search with Kairyu-Shin, terraforming, or like your prosperity resolving, I don't know, or like even Fish Sonar becomes like pretty important now at this point. Not that it wasn't before, but I think Called by is still, I don't know, trying it out in this build. But that's the spell lineup. Traps, Metaverse, 2 Strike, 2 Sea Stealth, and then 3 Reef. I really like Reef. I feel like this card is, especially with you wanting bodies on board to like potentially do synchro plays and stuff. Again, if you open up 1 or 2 of these 2, being able to drop Kairyu-Shin and then search whatever the 3rd one is too, just, I don't know. I like the odds of opening up at least 1, if not 2 of these. I feel like if you're able to get up, like a lot of your lock, it's pretty solid. But this allows you to get out, I mean, if you get like Dark Ruler, you can play past that because you can re-get out like a Kairyu-Shin and Maiden. I don't know. This card just seems to be pretty good. If you resolve it more than once in a game, you obviously win. But yeah, 3, 2, 2, 1. Everyone keeps negating the fucking Kairyu-Shin occasionally too, so people are learning that the fact that you can search whatever card you need to get your lock finish is pretty good. I definitely did not just count out the main, so someone else can do that. The extra, that's it for your links. I still think these 2 are good enough and generic enough that they're worth playing. For the XYZs, cut it down to these 3. Took out the Bahamut and Toads. I mean, if you make it, cool, but at some point I had to cut out some fat. I still think Dweller is definitely worth playing with tier elements, and as, I don't know, just always prominent. This is still a very, very like sticky card. Could be very good late game, especially if you're trying to get in some burn damage. And I mean, you can play this, or I think the rank 5 that takes a monster requires you to play this, but this was just another extra deck out for utilization. You could play like I don't know, this could be whatever. Fusions, so Mud Dragon, Amphibious, Pugroth, Theseus, and what is this guy? Garura. Super poly target, extenders for instant and, I guess technically all 3 of these are extenders for instant and ready fusion, but Theseus being a tuner allows you to make pretty much any one of your other monsters into fiber, which is nice. And then for the synchros that you go into with fiber, Desert Locust. So on your opponent's main phase, you Locust, and then you can go Aura Whale, and what I'm finding in my playtesting, this would definitely be more of like a going second card. Actually, I mean, obviously you can pop it off on your opponent's turn, but that requires an 8, so it's 2 level 4s. That's kind of trickier to get. Navy Dragon Mech. This is a level 9, so this card will probably never see play ever again. But whenever it's summoned, when this card is special summoned, you can target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of tuners in your graveyard. Negate their effects until the end of this turn. If the Synchro summoned card is destroyed by card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can target 1 tuner in your graveyard, add it to your hand. If you can, I mean, you can very easily have that set up to go into a 9. And do keep in mind, if you have Kairyu-Shin out, that Locust, you have to go into a water monster, so I'm trying to max out on the water targets. But if you can, you know, and for my playtesting, the like ideal board is to have like Jellyfish out and then like Fiber or something along those lines. You negate a card on your opponent's turn, chain Fiber, go into Locust. Locust would discard a card out of your opponent's hand, and then you can use his second effect to Synchro, and you could either, you know, obviously this guy to negate another card, or you play a Baron, and then that's where I'm saying you have to be kind of careful with your setup. And you can use like Sea Stealth attack to get Kairyu-Shin off the field if you have him, but because you're only allowed to have 1 water at a time, you have to use Locust kind of timingly, because if you have him, he counts as your 1 non-water. So you have to go into something like gimmicky, unless you have an open field, then you can obviously go into him. Or this is what I'm playing currently. Whenever you summon, he makes another token. So you've got 2 big beaters, which the trap card will protect them because of their levels and stuff, which is pretty insane. But the idea being, if you don't have Kairyu-Shin, or you can get him off the field to make this, you, again, it's a negate with Jelly. You then chain Hulk to bring him out, which discards a card out of your opponent's hand, and then you can use him and Jelly, and then if for whatever reason Legendary Ocean is on the field and Jellyfish is reduced by 1, Grappler Angler, which is this guy, acts as the supplement level to get Jelly back up to 4, and he is a 6, and that's how you get your Synchro to 10, and both of these can be made that way. And then so Baron is just an extra negate, so then it turns into a negate from Jelly, a card ripped out of your opponent's hand, and then an Omni negate with Baron, which isn't, I mean, horrible by any means. Obviously, that it's, like I said, it's kind of wonky, but I'm still, like, it seems like a fun take on the deck. I don't think I've seen anyone else do something like this yet, so I figured I'd put it out there. If you guys can optimize it, or if the feedback is that this is absolutely asinine, that's totally fine as well. But I thought it was at least something fun to try out, but I do like how, I don't know, if you didn't really use the extra deck a lot before, and so if you can add another line of play to the deck and get some like Omni negates out of it and shit, I don't see why it's bad. I mean, I know that the deck is meant to like focus on the lock, but you can still do that pretty well while still playing around this. You don't want to open up the bricks, but fuck it, use them for super poly. Yeah, no, that's the updated list as of right now. So like I said, I figured it'd be cool to get it out there. If you guys, obviously, any feedback is appreciated, but I definitely think it's, I don't know, it's a fun build. It's definitely pretty cool. The fact that Fish Sonar can tutor out any water monster, I think it at some point it was only like a matter of time before someone found like something niche to do with it. I don't know if this is like the best line of play by any means, but the idea that you can cheese out a tuner seems pretty good for needle fiber plays. I don't know if this is the best route for these guys, but I feel like being able to rip a card with Locust and then being able to go into an Omni negate seems pretty good. But again, if you guys find something better, let me know. If Fiber gets banned soon, then fuck it. A lot of brain energy has been put to no use, but at least we found something cool to do with it. Again, the extras are supposed to be prosperities. That's the only thing that I think would be mandatory change, just because you can't just banish 6 random cards and expect to be able to do these plays. I guess I can show the side deck. I don't think this has changed at all, to be completely fair. It's just 3 Lob Golem, 3 Cosmic, 3 Judgment, 3 Evenly, and 3-Dimensional Barrier. I'm pretty sure all this is still pretty solid right now. There's a lot of hand traps that are pretty fire, so like I know DD Crow seems like it's pretty solid. Baylor's, I don't play any hand traps really in this at all. found better, I don't know, more fun shit to play. But if you wanted to replace like the super polys with either like the ice barrier package or again like the torrentials, crossouts, I don't know, there's so many. I don't know, I would not do crossouts, that would require too many slots. I'm gonna try a couple test hands. It's gonna be really bad. Hopefully not. You want to open up legendary ocean, fish, and fish sonar, kind of like the main two that you want access to. Okay, so again, we're just gonna pretend this is prosperity. So activate legendary. Pray to God that we hit a fish sonar. Realistically, I don't know, like banish these two. You know those two pretty easily. I don't foresee banishing the Dweller. Or something that gets into a tuner, I guess. But not really. You're not really trying to push for that too heavily. You do the mech, I'd assume. Well, I don't know. Fuck it, we'll just get the Dweller and the Whale. That's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cool beans. Sonar. And what's nice too is you do have protection from Ash throughout this whole thing with the jelly. This guy, or attack mode doesn't specify, and then we'll add Kairyu-Shin. Effective jelly. Kairyu-Shin. So here, I mean, I would say 9 times out of 10 you're still going to search Sea Stealth too, but, or I'm sorry, Sea Stealth attack. But if you search Reef instead, and this is again where this line of play gets a little bit different because you can synchro these two off, you can search. And if this is, I mean, I don't know, there's so many different lines of play with this deck still that I'm trying to kind of figure out. The more you play test, obviously, that's kind of the point of figuring this shit out. But now you've got access to your needle fiber. That's there. Fiber effect. Great, and then set to pass. And then, so at this point, you are still able to go into more than one non-water monster because the Kairyu-Shin's off the field. You do have a card in hand for Super Poly, which is nice. Your opponent, so you can let them play into that as hard as they want, or you can lock them at any point in time because you have Dark Reef out, and you can obviously send and reestablish your lock. But the idea being, if your opponent were to activate or start off their turn with, like, you know, a Searcher or, you know, like a Signet Mining or Salamangreat, whatever the fuck the Circle, you get what I'm saying. Any starter, you could negate with Jellyfish, and then chain Needle Fiber. This effect comes through to go into Locust. Locust effect would then cause your opponent to discard a card. You can then chain Locust, and again, because Ocean's out, this is where Angler comes into play because Jellyfish is a level 3, so it's 3, 4, and then 6. So that's where your level 10 comes into play. If for whatever reason Ocean wasn't out, that's fine. You can still just use these two and it goes into your 10. But so because Ocean's out, you'd go 3, 4, 3, 1, 6, Jesus, for 10. And so now you've negated a card with Jellyfish, made them discard a card, and then bring out your Baron. We just got this, so that's, I've never owned a Baron, so that's actually why this whole thing, I mean, obviously kind of messed around with the needle fiber play a little bit, but this is kind of where it really kind of comes together, if you will. So now you have one negate from Jelly, a card out of their hand, an Omni negate, and at any point now, if they have monsters or whatever, you can send Ocean. We fucked up because we opened up the Maiden, so we don't actually get to reestablish the lock. That's so tragic. So say this card was literally anything but Maiden, and you'd be able to, you know, geez, it doesn't matter, but we opened up another Prosperity or something. Fuck it. But there would be your lock. But that is why I do like playing the Maiden as well. A lot of people say it's okay to cut. I think it's worth playing simply because you can reestablish on your opponent's side. Now, yes, if they play a field spell, it does turn it off, but fuck it, negate it with the Baron. Yes, obviously, if you draw it, it does stop that. But I don't know. Like I said, is this the most optimal thing that you can do with the deck? Potentially. But still the idea that you can actually utilize the extra deck and you don't have to just rely on the XYZs that, or I guess, I don't know. Super probably might not be superb, but I still think it's solid enough to try out. But like I said, that's all this is. It's just an idea. Hope you guys kind of like the concept behind it. I think it's pretty fun, but I'll be gone for a few weeks, but I'll get back to the channel pretty soon. Deuces while I'm gone. Thank you guys.